Let's take a look at the first page of the closing disclosure form to see what information is presented first to the borrower. Page 1 of the closing disclosure presents an overview of key loan information that the CFPB views most important for the borrower to understand. 3 important elements included on the first page include the interest rate, monthly payment amount, and the amount of cash needed for closing. In the top section, we see basic transaction information including closing date, property address and sale price, borrower and seller name and their address, and loan information. In the loan terms section is where the loan amount, interest rate, monthly principal and interest amount values appear. After each is a yes or no question of can this amount increase after closing. If yes, there will be more descriptive language. If no, there is no more language needed. Next, we see fields for does the amount have a prepayment penalty or balloon payment feature. Again, if yes, more descriptive language will be added. If no, the section is complete. In this example, we are looking at a 30-year fixed mortgage that does have mortgage insurance. We see 2 projected payments amount, years 1 through 7 with the MI included, and then years 8 through 30 with the MI discontinued. In the closing costs section on page 1, closing costs is a total of closing costs less any lender credits. The breakdown is available on page 2 for more detail. Cash to close is a quick reference for the amount of the wire for the funds that the borrower needs to send in for their closing. The details of how that number was arrived at are available on page 3 of the CD. If this number is negative, this is the amount of cash back that the borrower will receive as a result of the closing. Now that we've had an overview of page 1, let's move on to page 2, where the details really start to emerge. Page 2 provides a breakdown of the closing cost details and lists the loan costs paid by the borrower, seller, and other parties. Sections A through D contain loan costs. Sections E through H contain other costs. Each line contains a description name for the fee. Moving across the page, there are 5 columns for fee amounts. They are borrower paid at or before closing, seller paid at or before closing, and paid by others. Moving from the top of the form down and looking down the page at each of the alphabetical sections, we see they are grouped as follows. Section A is for origination charges. Section B is for services required in conjunction with the loan, and the borrower either did not or was not allowed to shop for the service provider. Section C is for services required in conjunction with the loan, and the borrower did shop for the service provider. Section D is a sum of the totals in sections A through C. Section E is for recording fees and transfer taxes. Section F is for prepaid items. Section G is for initial amounts going in to set up the impounds or escrow account at the lender. Section H is for other charges pertaining to the transaction. Section I is a sum of the totals from sections E through H. Section J shows total closing costs less any lender credits. Now let's look at what's covered on page 3 of the CD.
The next page shows payoffs and payments made on this loan. So in this situation, you'll see that there's a payoff of an existing loan of $115,000 totaled in section K. Finally, when calculating cash to close, you'll see that there is a comparison between the original loan estimate and your final loan cost. The loan amount of $150,000 remains unchanged. Total closing cost, you can see here that they're slightly higher than projected at $5,757.57 versus the $5,099 projected closing cost. You'll see costs paid before closing, and then you'll also see total payoffs and payments of $115,000. So in this situation, the total cash to close is actually going to be an amount paid back to the borrower in the amount of $29,677.43.